It's Saturday, May 10th, 2025. You are watching Co-op for Two, and you're watching an episode of Tabletop Mystery Game News. That's where I talk about new games in the mystery game space. Mostly games. I can see already I've forgotten to put my little thing under the camera. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can fix this. Okay, I have different camera setups when I do these kinds of streams, and I've got a special block that goes under the camera when I change the lens. All right, that's beside the point. Thank you for joining me. It's been a while since I did one of these Tabletop Mystery Game News episodes. I'm not exactly comfortable with the format. I was reading a mystery writing book, and it has a quote at the beginning of the first chapter. And the quote is something like, if you want to get good at this, you have to be prepared to be bad at it for a long time. And I think that's a good general rule to these kinds of things. You have to expect to go through the suffering and produce the bad quality stuff in order to produce the good quality stuff. If you never let yourself do the bad stuff, will abort the project before you even get started. So we're sort of roughing it for these first couple episodes. I need to force myself to do them more frequently, even when there aren't good games to talk about, which is why I keep putting off these Tabletop Mystery Game News updates. I just feel like there's not enough to talk about, but we'll find enough to talk about, or we'll just chat. So let me see who's here. YouTube says 13 viewers. I'm always surprised at the number of viewers for different videos. I would have thought that the news videos would get more people versus the live playthroughs. Somehow the live playthroughs, the 6-hour live playthroughs, maybe it has to do with which one helps put you to sleep. But we've got the normal people here. All right, let's remind you what the outline here is for this format. We're just going to remind you of the little preliminaries. Then we'll talk about new games to the channel, new games to retail, new games to crowdfunding, and then sort of a wrap up of other stuff. Primarily new PC video games, but maybe we'll talk about movies or some other stuff. So let's see if we can, preliminaries, that's still here. Okay, I'm going to try to do these once a month. First, I was going to do every other week, and then 3 months passed, and I'll try to force myself to do it once a month. Let me remind you that I don't have any relationship with any publishers, and I don't want any relationship with publishers. I see board game YouTubers all the time talk about how their mission is to expand the hobby. I don't care about expanding a hobby. I don't care what you do. I'm not trying to get more people to play games. That doesn't benefit me. I'm just sharing information, trying to be as unbiased as I can be. But I do have some biases in terms of what kinds of games I like, and in terms of my skepticism about Kickstarter and the cost of board games, which seems to me like it's out of control, especially with the shipping costs and everything. So I tend to be a little negative and skeptical about backing Kickstarter stuff, especially when the shipping prices aren't clear. But I'll try to temper that a little bit in these videos. When I do my playthroughs and reviews, I'm going to feel free to be pretty harsh. But here I'm going to try to take a little more of a neutral position. But some of it is going to bleed through. And the other thing to say is that for me, I'm not a super puzzle game person. I am learning to appreciate them more, and I do enjoy the best ones, but I do need a little bit of narrative with my games, and I prefer the narrative stuff. So when we talk about mystery puzzle games, you'll detect that my enthusiasm is not quite as high as it is for the narrative games. The other thing to say about this particular series, board game, tabletop mystery game news, is that if you are a publisher or a designer, hobby or whatever, or for a big company, you are welcome to come by on these episodes and write in the channel, hey, we're making this new game, or hey, I am thinking about kickstarting this game, or this new game we made is on Kickstarter. You should feel free to talk about your games on this channel to bring them to the attention of the channel and to me, and you can send me information ahead of time as well. You just have to make very clear when you recommend something, your relationship with that product, whether you're the publisher or the creator, whatever. And the last thing is, if you are a Patreon supporter of this channel, please do feel free to speak up when you think we're looking at a game that you think we should back for the channel. The Patreon supporters of this channel do make it possible for me to back more games than I normally would. And if the Patreon supporters want to back an unusual, expensive game to check it out, I'm happy to do so. All right, let's get started here. Starting with games that were new to the channel that we played. So just yesterday, we played for almost 6 hours Hidden Games Green Poison, this one right here, which was quite good. It had a couple bugs that, here it is right here. It had a couple bugs that drove me to some real frustration. But the Hidden Games Company is a very curious German company that has about 12 of these games in the series. We played 2 about 3 years ago, New Haven and Midnight Crown, I think they were. And in addition to playing them, I recorded a 1-hour spoiler-free review of them that where I praised them quite lavishly. They're really very good, a little on the easier side, but they've got a real style to them, and heavy use of internet. Probably the best use of the internet in these cold case dossier games. But Green Poison was written 3 years ago, but never translated into English or never brought to the US until very recently, in the last month or so. So this just came out. It is available. I think it's probably about $25, $30. That's what I paid for it. I forget where I ordered it from. But one of the very unusual things about this company is as I said, there's 12, there's more than a dozen games in German. And part of the reason why it takes so long for them to localize them into the US market is for each country they sell to, they completely change the names of everything. Like they set it in a US town with US named people and everything. And with all the different spinning plates, the websites, and all the documents, they inevitably make a couple mistakes. And in our playthrough last night, we hit a couple of them, couple snags in the translation localization, but nothing that ruined the experience. And it is a very good case. I wouldn't say it's any better than the Cryptic Killers games, although it has much more of an internet component than the Cryptic Killers games. And the Cryptic Killer games are cheaper, but these are right up there in terms of quality, maybe a little bit easier, but a very good game with a very good plot and twists and suspects and everything. So quite liked it. That's what we played yesterday. And then other games we played recently. A couple days before that, we played Who Killed Mia, which was another very high production quality game, quite a bit easier with lots of multimedia. That one's been out for a while, but I just finally got around to playing it. And the interesting thing that I was informed about after we played it is the company that made Who Killed Mia. This is their only mystery game, murder mystery game they made. They actually acquired Hunt-A-Killer. They're the parent company that acquired Hunt-A-Killer. So a little bit of interesting trivia. Now, I also got in the mail, I ordered Heredity Book of Swan. All right, is it going to stop? Yes, okay. So Heredity Book of Swan. That was actually a game, and here it is. It has arrived. A game that I mentioned on a previous Tabletop Mystery Game news. It's not strictly a mystery game. I guess you would call it more of an adventure board game, much more of a classic board game. Some clear similarities to Seventh Continent, Seventh Citadel. You explore these cards that come out. Each card has things you can interact with that tells you to draw other cards. But it's not a board game. It's not a classic replayable board game. Instead, it's 5 chapters, continuing chapters that make up a campaign. It's sort of an post-apocalyptic survival. You can see 5 chapters. It's all card-based. And you play through the 5 chapters in order. And there are some continuing effects, almost like a legacy game, but nothing gets destroyed. And you discover the story and explore. So it's much more focused on exploration. There's combat, but it's a story. It's a heavy narrative story that you probably will only play through once. I did a long unboxing and reading through of the rules. I am quite intrigued. It is a bit of a table hog, so I don't know how well it's going to film, but we are going to try to play this on the channel. We can at least play a chapter or two. I'm a sucker for these long form games that aren't 4 months long, but 5 episodes long, maybe 5 videos where you're exploring. So it sort of scratches an itch I have, and I'm very curious to check out some of the mechanics. There's some new mechanics going on about a timeline that ticks by, and you can equip characters with items. I am curious to give it a try. Now, for all of these games, please do chime in if you have played them, purchased them, if you have any thoughts about them. Unlike many of my videos, I'm happy to spend time here talking with people. Rob says, you didn't give much notice for this video. It's true. I only gave you an hour of notice, although I did mention yesterday we might do it. Now, the other game we played before that was Hunt-A-Killer's Curtain Call, which was from 2020, 2021, maybe? 6 parts we played. Maybe 25 hours or so. But one of my probably my favorite Hunt-A-Killer game. One of my favorite long-form cold case games we've played because the narrative was so good. And I cannot recommend Curtain Call more highly. If you can pick it up on sale for maybe $100, well worth it. We played the Egyptian Enigma, which is a history game, very light, very easy, but very good production quality. And the people that make the Egyptian Enigma make 3 games now. One is Medieval Mishap and one is Roman Rivalry, all set in sort of time-traveling real-world stuff. But there's a game I talked about on a previous episode of Tabletop Mystery Game News, and we decided collectively to back it. And so that new game is arriving quite soon, and we'll play it when it arrives. But we played the first one a little too easy, timed, but high production quality. Then Jonathan Warner and I and a couple others finished playing Seven Citadel over 14 sessions. I don't know, 50 hours or so. And then before that, we played the 50 Clues sci-fi series, which we had mixed thoughts about, but I generally do like it. The author, who's not self-published, but is really a passion project, has said he's unlikely to produce more of these 50 Clues games, but maybe print and play versions. I think he should make some Cthulhu-themed boxes because he's got his art fits it, his dark personality fits it. I'd love to play some Cthulhu-themed 50 Clues. We played an Unsolved Case Files. We played 2 Unsolved Case Files recently, Angela Justice, and the one before it was Sandra Ivy, which I thought was better, but both better than I had remembered about when I played Harmony Ashcroft. So I would recommend the Unsolved Case Files series if you can find it on sale. And I think they're producing new ones as they go, so we'll keep up with that. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Can we move on to our next item? Okay, next item is a game that has hit retail, and that's Backstory's The Emerald Wedding Anniversary. I happen to have that in front of me here. And here's the first Backstories that we played on the channel. So you can currently pick these up for about $15, $16. You can watch my review and our playthrough of the first Backstories called Alone Under the Ice, which I liked quite a bit. It's got a little gimmick where sometimes cards have a little window in them and you flip them over and read it. It lets you combine cards. So it was sort of a mixture. It was a sort of choose-your-own-adventure game, card-based game, but it did have some mystery elements to solve. Mostly choose-your-own-adventure, a little bit of mystery elements. You did have to be clever about solving a couple puzzles. But what I wanted to show you about these two, so I quite liked it, especially if you can find it on sale. Maybe a little bit on the easy side, although really great to play with kids, I thought. But this is a 2-level difficulty. And then I want to show you, though, the new one is significantly bigger and is rated more difficult. So both of those things are very appealing to me. Now, it's basically a one-time playthrough. You could play it a couple, maybe twice to try different paths a little bit, but not much. But the fact that this is longer and more difficult is music to my ears. So I am very curious about trying the new Backstories. And this one, the new one, is sort of a spy story, it looks like. So I think we'll be playing this soon on the channel. What's next? Heredity, I already looked at that. Okay, Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. You might think, Jesse, that is not new. That is an old game. Well, yes, you're right. It's one of my very favorite games on the channel. But it feels to me like we've seen some new fan cases picking up speed here somehow. And that's what I want to focus on today. That several new fan cases have been posted, but not just fan cases, sort of fan multi-set cases. Now, why am I not, is it not sorted for me right? Where's the, where, This should be the new ones. Okay, let's see. We don't want the errata though. Why are we not seeing the new ones? What have I done wrong? So there were several new cases just recently posted. One was a trilogy. Why are these sorting in wrong order? Is that what? That's what it is. It's just my tablet. Yes, okay. My this laptop was not sorting it by recent. Okay, so here we have the recent things. So here's a new case called Return of the Prodigal Son. And what I want to show you is it's not just this new case. So if you don't know, Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, there's tons of fan cases. You need a base set to play with. So you have the map and the directory, but people have been writing cases for a long time. So here's a new case called The Return of the Prodigal Son. But what I didn't know is this. And I know some of you on the channel are following this, but it looks like a group of people. And here's Mick Hedman, who is helping to produce this, although I don't think he's the author of this case. He might be the author of one of these cases, though. But they've got a whole 10-case box planned out called The Rose Killer and Other Cases. This is pretty exciting. And 3 cases are already available and have been translated. And here's the third one, Return of the Prodigal Son. I don't know if these, I couldn't tell, maybe someone else can tell me, if these are just planned or if these have been written and are being translated into English. That's the part I don't know. But here we got 3 cases already that you can play from this set. And I guess Mickey is translating these. This was a case by Thomas Castro, published earlier, that is no longer online. This is the same case, but much reworked. The author has revised the earlier version, and this is now the official version. So you could download these 3 cases, but I don't know. I'd love to know if these are, I don't think they're all written by Thomas Castro, but some but some of them are. Maybe if we look at Return of the Prodigal Son, that's the one that's brand new. Let me just see what case 1 says. So again, this is Thomas Castro. The first one. I thought the second one. Case 2. Okay. So Thomas Castro's 10-case series. Okay, so the idea is that Thomas Castro wrote all of these that Mick is helping to translate or reformat. Now, I should say that I've been working on tools to produce nice PDF books for New York Noir, the game system I've been working on for the last 3 years, inspired by Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. Those tools can be used to make Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective cases. So at some point, I hope that people find those tools useful for formatting these kinds of games. Maybe I'll reach out to this person and see if there's some collaboration. On a related note, though, Peter, another programmer, has started writing online map and directory searching tools, and he recently just added the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective map and directory to his tools, and they actually work really nicely. There are a couple sites that have put online the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective map, version of the map. Peter's is quite good. And so I'm hoping that the tools I've been writing will help people make these Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective fan cases as well. Now, in addition to this set, here's a brand new trilogy that's released all in one shot here called The Coventure. And you can see April 9th, last month, here's someone who just went off and made a full trilogy of cases. So we need to start playing some more of these. And then there's even volunteers. Marco is the one I see all the time, translating them into it. Hey, it's Marco. I'm just making the connection. Is our Marco Guffarelli? Is our Marco, who joins us regularly for live playthroughs, is he the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective person who's translated these cases? Let's see what Marco says. No, different Marco. Just a common Italian name. Okay, fair enough. I have made a couple videos about why I think the free fan-made Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective cases are the best kept secret in this space of mystery games, because they're very high quality, they're free, and they're some of my favorite games. So if you're looking to get started in this space, you'll need one box of Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, but any set you want, go to Board Game Geek. You can download dozens of free fan-made cases of one of my favorite mystery games ever made. Not everyone loves it, so give it a try. There's some demo cases online you can play without buying anything. If you like it, you've got a whole world in front of you. Okay, moving on. What have we got next? City of Six Moons. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about City of Six Moons. I think I talked about it in a previous Tabletop Mystery Game News segment. It's not classically a mystery game, but it's a very unusual game. Basically framed as a sort of science fiction mystery. But what it is it's a game with no rules and no English, just symbols. So the idea here is, let's see if we can look at some images. Okay, so the idea is you get this box, small box made by a small developer with presumptively a game in it with pieces and cards, but no rules. And the idea is that you try to figure out the rules. And the developer has said they're not going to answer any questions. They're not going to ever explain it. I mean, I'm sure one day we'll get an explanation. We have to assume that there are real rules that are just described by symbology, but we don't know for sure. So there's no right or wrong answer. There's no way to check if you got it right. It's more of a community experience of trying to figure out consistent rules for how to play this game. And in the local game group here, Kudo Plays in Champaign, Illinois, they were discussing this a little bit on the Discord. Chris, one of the Kudo Plays person, was recommending it. And I've been following it for a while, but I finally, watching Chris talk about it, I thought, all right, let me pull the trigger here. So I went and ordered this game. It's not available at retail, I don't think. I think I had to order it from the website. But I ordered it, and I thought, maybe we'll actually get it out on the channel and have like a session every once in a while where we sit down and talk through ideas about it. So I'm curious. I don't know how that would work. I don't know what the experience is going to be like, but I love the idea of it. Rob says there's a good PC game with a similar theme, decoding language, called Chants of Sonar. I remember we looked at that, and that looked quite good. I think we might have even looked at it here on Tabletop Mystery Game News. All right, so that's in the mail to me. When I get it, we'll take it out and look at it. Next up is a game I noticed on a Board Game Geek design diary called Here Lies. It's a cooperative mystery solving type game. Not narrative, not story, I don't think, but look at what they're citing as inspiration. Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, Return of the Obra Dinn and Her Story, two very well-regarded video games, as well as Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective, and then some cooperative mystery solving games. Three Secrets Crime Time we've played on the channel together. Okay, human element of natural storytelling. They talk about Mysterium, which I have mixed feelings about. And so if you don't know, Board Game Geek has this series called Design Diary, where they invite designers to talk about their games. And you can see what they've designed here is a mystery of a victim and trying to figure out what happened, which you can see the connection to Mysterium is clear. These are the producers, the same publishers of Mysterium. We were just releasing. Okay. So anyway, this is an interesting discussion about this cooperative designed games where you're trying to figure out motive, suspect, cause of death, etc. And it's quite intriguing. And I like the discussion of how they tried to make this a game where there was real collaboration. Can't get quite a feel for how it plays, but I'm going to keep my eye on it. It definitely looks like it's a larger group game, certainly not a solo game. It's really focused on communication and collaboration. Eliminate all competitive play options. Refocus to a cooperative game. Looks like it's the old thing where one person knows information and the other are trying to figure it out. Okay, so keep your eye open on this. This looks very tempting to me. Can't tell how much there's going to be a real story. It doesn't look like there's much of a real story, but I can't tell. Maybe we've got scenario cards here. Small box. I'll be trying this when I get a chance. Next. Ministry of Lost Things. Okay, Post Curious, the producer of Ministry of Lost Things, is a very well-regarded indie puzzle game maker. And Rita Orlov is the person behind this company and this series. I don't know if I think she did make this game. And I actually have Ministry of Lost Things. I believe this was discussed on an earlier episode of Tabletop Mystery Game News, and we decided to back it, and we have backed it, and it has arrived. Small card-based puzzle game with some narrative. Rita Orlov and Post Curious also made The Emerald Flame, and the one before that, which I'm drawing a blank on, bigger puzzle games, always beautifully illustrated. And they also made the Morrison Game Factory, which we played on the channel and quite liked. This one looks like maybe the smallest of all of them that they've made so far. You can see 2 to 3 hours only. It's in this small box, case 1. So apparently they plan to produce a whole series of these. So I think we should play this on the channel soon. Let's get a feel for it. All right, moving on. What's next? Okay, now we're getting into some more of the Kickstarters. I wouldn't say there's a huge number of mystery game Kickstarters in the last set, but this one, there are a couple weird, interesting ones. So this one is launching soon, but not yet. A locked room murder mystery game. An emergent murder mystery in this storytelling board game. This is one of these games that feels like it's promising a hell of a lot, and I really am a little bit skeptical. But Adam Bell, he's produced seven games so far on Kickstarter. Okay, so he's got a little bit of a track record, but here is a game that sounds like it's a large player count murder mystery dinner sort of thing, and yet it says it's for one or more players, and it says it works well solo. Okay, so let's see. You'll tell a story of mystery, murder, rumors, disgrace, turn-based gameplay. Each player an equal author. This is part where I don't understand how this is going to be solo, but maybe you're just inventing a story, but then it has board game rules. Plays great solo. Little skeptical that this is a game here and not just creating a story. Set structure each time you play, walks you through a series of phases, each with their own ground rules, goals and rules. Meet the suspects, all is revealed in the summation. I can't tell if it's just a little story making thing, but it looks certainly intriguing. Next up here is a little part of a whole class of games that are based on these puzzle boxes. And this one looks like it's got a little sci-fi theme with maybe some augmented reality stuff going on and more actual puzzles. You can see this looks like a little bit of augmented reality. So I don't know if we have people on this channel who are fans of these puzzle boxes and tying them into a mystery game. I can't say I'm a huge fan of the puzzle boxes. I bought one from the same people that made the Adventure series. They have a couple of puzzle boxes. I bought one about Sherlock's camera, which is this big intricate thing. And I just do not like the physical trying to make things work. It feels like an escape room, but there's something about the physical manipulation of this three-dimensional object that doesn't quite work for me, but I could see why it should. I can see why some people would love it. You've got this physical box with all these cool dials and switches, and you're trying to figure out ways to unlock it and advance it through the series. Through a series of actions and weird symbols. It's a great idea. It just doesn't, I don't know if it's the 3D thing that doesn't work for me or just the frustration of trying to get something to open and it won't open until you get these other things in the right order. It's too frustrating for me. Let's see what the chat says. In theory, puzzle boxes should be great. In practice, some physical component usually breaks or gets jammed, and you can't tell if your solution is wrong. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Shazner says, I got a puzzle box game a few years ago and really enjoyed it, but it was pretty expensive. Thorpe says, yeah, that's basically sums up my experience with the puzzle boxes. There is something, I think maybe one is tempted to want the most complex, intricate puzzle boxes. Those are the ones that are the most frustrating. I think maybe if you could get yourself like a really well aesthetically pleasing, super simple one, it might be a fun piece to show to guests and stuff that can be solved in 5 minutes once you figure out what it is. The big, long, intricate ones are just too involved. All right, let's move on. Okay, I am curious if anyone backed this. Now, I am sorry that this came and went between episodes of this series, so I never got a chance to talk about it while there was time to back it. And this is Joe Smedley from Red Herring, the prolific designer of Cozy Killer games, etc. And it's a little puzzle game set in the world of Sherlock Holmes. You will be able to purchase this later. It's not on Kickstarter, but it's part of a series of these very small box puzzle games that have been made by the same collaborative team. And in fact, if you look on this Kickstarter, the Kickstarter is over. You could have gotten it for £10, though not shipping, and it's not produced in America, so shipping costs were high. But they make a couple others. They make a science fiction, there we go, a little science fiction themed box. And then another box, you could have gotten the whole set. I strongly considered it. In the end, I did not back it, though. There's something, to me, there's something about it that feels a little lackluster here. Although, without knowing the quality of the puzzles, I don't know. But for some reason, I couldn't pull the trigger on it. But I wonder if anyone else backed this and got it. I'd be curious to hear how it is and maybe pick it up used. Melissa says, I almost did. It sounded like puzzles and not story. Maybe that's why I never backed it. It sounded like maybe pure little puzzles. And I want a little more narrative to my games. I think I was in the same boat as Melissa. I mean, at £10, that's definitely easy to take a chance unless the shipping costs are high. Anyway, the Kickstarter is over here, but you will be able to buy this later. Okay, here's another one that ended that came between episodes, so we didn't have time to talk about it, but you can purchase it late. Lots of people understand these choose your own adventure books were made famous by one of the companies. One of the series that made them famous is Fighting Fantasy. And here they've reprinted the whole sets of them. This seems like a great gift for a kid. You know, these are the books where you open it up and you read about some adventure, and then it says, do you want to do this or do that? And if you want to do this, you turn to this page. But really focused on fantasy world and combat. These are the kinds of books where you might make a choice and die, and then you just rewind and play it again. But they look beautifully done. And here's full set you could get. Each book is a standalone. Let's see how much. So $15 a book, set of 5 for $60. I hope this comes to retail, to Amazon or something, or you could late pledge for it here. I'm just really become skeptical about getting hit by a surprise shipping charge, so I like to wait unless it's really compelling until it's at retail. But if you have a younger person or these have some historical memories for you, this seems quite well done. All right, now this is a large group murder mystery dinner type game. A Cure to Die For. Up to 7 players, 6 or 7 players. So we know this is a little real small indie project, 20 days to go. It's only trying to raise $300. They met that, funded in 10 minutes. Okay, well, that's not important. But this is one of these murder mystery dinner games. You need 6 or 7 people to play it. I don't know if it's all digital. But for £20, you'd get A Cure to Die For and 2 of my other print and play games. Okay, so they're all print and play. If you've got 5, 6, 7 players, this might be worth giving a try. especially since if you don't have to get shipping because it's all print and play digital. These murder mystery games can be very fun if you've never played one. I have a group, we play at least one a year. And this guy has made a whole bunch of them. Clearly a passion project that he cares about. I would be curious to try one of these. In fact, I might pick up one of these from his website and try it. Each person gets a booklet telling them about their character, and then the story sort of unfolds over the course of dinner or a session. You can see he's made a whole bunch of them. The series that I played most recently that I liked was Culinario Fatale. All right, this might be the big one that the puzzle mystery game people have been focused on recently. So those of you in the chat who are big in this space, you probably have got your eye on this, Pandora's Legacy. An epic puzzle adventure. You can see it's got these secret boxes that unlock. So I think we should just watch this together. Let me get my headphones. So this is actually live. They've raised $600,000. This is absolutely going to deliver. No doubt about that. They've already sent out review copies, which we'll take a look at in a second. You've got 18 days to back it. But before we watch this video, let's make sure we understand the cost here. So $100 for the base game and a jigsaw puzzle bonus and another jigsaw puzzle bonus. It says 20 hours of fun. Shipping not included. Let me just scroll down. I want to see. Okay, and then you could get just the game for $65. Okay, but now I want to see what the shipping costs are. Okay. It says here that it's only $9 shipping to the US. But let's see. Estimates. And here's how the tariffs are not known yet. Okay, so you could back this thinking you're going to pay $10 shipping and get stuck with $30 shipping for all I know. I'd be a little nervous about that. Not that I could really blame them for not knowing, but okay, let's watch this video together. See. Can you hear it? There's no audio yet. Oh, we're using my laptop now. Okay, let's see. How about... Ooh, that's not right. Don't worry, we'll get it. I think what we want is to unmute the laptop. Okay, how about now?
Curiosity got the better of her.
Do you hear it now? Yes, you do.
The gods granted Pandora many gifts, and one abominable box. Curiosity got the better of her, and chaos was unleashed upon the world. But that's only the beginning of the story. What if instead of accepting the New World Order, Pandora tried to fix it? Pandora's Legacy is a jigsaw unlike any you've experienced before. You'll start by assembling the pieces and find areas missing. To unlock the next section and advance the story, you'll need to solve puzzles embedded within the jigsaw. The puzzles, crafted by renowned constructors, are deep and challenging. Some will reward you with physical artifacts that you'll then figure out how to use in ways that will surprise and delight you, just like in an escape room. $1,200 pieces to assemble, 17 boxes to unlock, 16 devious puzzles to solve, 1 infernal box. Turn your living room into an escape room. Let loose the curiosities inside. This epic experience is available on Kickstarter now. Do you dare open Pandora's box?
All right. I have to admit, that's a pretty compelling video. Let's see what the chat thinks about this. Looks cute. They did a great job with the promo, but jigsaw puzzles are definitely not my thing. Okay, well, that basically sums up where I am here. And I don't know if part of that is just because on the YouTube channel, a big giant jigsaw puzzle doesn't work well. But in general, there's a whole class of escape room mystery games that are jigsaw focused. Exit makes a whole series of them. And I can absolutely see the appeal of them. You're sort of putting together a puzzle. Some people love putting together jigsaw puzzles, and then you're adding this mystery element. And this game here looks like the most serious version of that. This is a jigsaw puzzle game with as much mystery escape room puzzle as any jigsaw puzzle game I've seen. Most of the jigsaw puzzle games just have a little bit of extra mystery once you've put it together. And then there was a review of this. I think I brought up that page. Yeah, okay. So here's a website called The Escape Puzzler. I've talked about it before. It's a very good website that does a lot of reviews of these games and gets early review copies. So this author, this website reviewer, got an early review copy of this, and he seems to really like it. It's got this brochure. I mean, this looks, if you liked jigsaw puzzles, this looks really quite fun. The art is beautiful. You can see searching for things in here look really fun, but it goes well beyond that with all these hidden boxes and puzzles. Let's see what he says here. Hard to pinpoint difficulty because it will be dependent on experience. I've done my fair share of jigsaws. Found this one to be challenging enough, not so difficult that it became frustrating. The escape room style puzzles provided a good level of challenge as well. I did need to reach for the hints occasionally. I'd pitch it at a medium difficulty for seasoned players. In system was mostly good, and here he is. He's rated it. Shatters the myth at hope. 12 plus hours of fun. Challenging gameplay, curated by some of the best in the business. Extended playtime means excellent value for money, can be split across multiple sessions. All right, so I think for me, this is the example of the kind of game that I would give as a gift, but not for myself. Just because I don't love the putting together of the big giant jigsaw, but there's a good, I think I might back this just to send it to my nieces. I think this would be a good family game for the group of them, the women in my life. I can see my mother, my sister, and my two nieces getting together to play this. The art is beautiful. So I don't think for me, but I think I might just pick this up for family. Yeah. All right. I think it sounds like we're all sort of in agreement. Next up is, this looks like a digital treasure hunting game. I'm quite curious about the treasure hunting game. I don't know why we don't have more mystery games set as treasure hunts. There's one I have that we should be playing that has very well regarded. Murdoch's Treasure, maybe? I have it somewhere on a shelf. That's very digital, but we really need to play it. This one looks like it might be all digital. Is that right? Interactive browser-based puzzle game. Okay, so I love this idea of treasure hunting as a puzzle, but I don't tend to play the purely digital games, so I'm not sure if it's for me. It looks like it's struggling a little bit, 20 days to go though, but it's digital, which means it's affordable. You can see it looks like what, $14? No. Mystery of the Amazon, $9. And then it's got a website. Okay. So there's a trial adventure here and then a couple other. There's the one we were just looking at, but it looks like they've made a previous one that's fully workable. So maybe give this a try if this seems like something that you might be interested in. $10. There you have it. 1 to 2 hours, difficulty easy, moderate. And then you could try this one for free. All right. What's next? Okay, green poison. We already talked about that. Okay, here's one that comes up occasionally that I'm very curious about. Joy Swift's original murder mystery investigations. So here's this woman, Joy Swift, who is apparently one of the early people to design these kinds of games. These are digital. They're purely digital, but they look like they're much more classic cold case games with tons of documents, 16 and over, tons of video, and maybe we're going to watch one of these videos. Does anyone in the channel have any experience with this? No other online murder mystery gives you more. Countless victims to discover, many suspects to investigate, 12 chapters of evidence, 20 hours of play. They do look like really big cases. Like if you're looking for a cold case game that you could play with someone else online that's really dense, this one looks very intriguing to me and like really old school, unusual. But maybe, let's see, maybe we'll look at this together. Let's see how to play. Like, look at that. 12 chapters of evidence. Look at all these video documents to look through. It gives you a little murder board, place to take your own notes. It feels like someone on our channel needs to play one of these and see if it's any good. Because I could see how this is quite appealing, especially if you've got someone that you want to play with remotely. I think I had a separate video here. Let me look at this. Murder Mystery Investigations. Here's a 6-minute preview, maybe with interview with the author. I'm not sure. Let me take a look at this.
Hello, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about Murder Mysteries by Joy Swift. So she comes with more than 40 years of experience in designing murder plots and murder mysteries. So you can imagine the kind of quality work that we are going to get in these games. Also, these games have no expiry date. So if you purchase, you play it, and you want to play it again after a couple of years, you can do that because you're going to have access to that forever. So I think that's a fantastic way to present your games to your audience. Also, there are 12 chapters. So these chapters have like a lot of evidence. I mean, I can total up to more than 150 pieces of evidences. It was amazing to go through that. I mean, I actually got a feeling like I'm reading some crime novel with 12 chapters, or I'm watching a TV series based on crime, which is 12 episodes. And I'm playing a role in that, because I'm going through it and I'm the one who's going to solve the murder. So I think that had an added advantage, and I really love that. So let's not spend more time here. I mean, you can definitely check out the link in the description of the video. But let's get into the website and see, once you purchase, what are you going to get. All right, so here we are. So this is the website, and you can take your time to go through the
I'm just going to jump around a little bit.
I already have these two, and I can select the one which I want. So right now the first one is selected, so that's fine. Just like we know that when we start any kind of investigation, we need to have a notepad with us, or some kind of investigation boards. That's exactly something that these games provide, and I was really like, I can edit this board name if I chapters, and probably it looks like there are victims in each of the chapter. So do not click on all these chapters in sequence, just go for chapter 1. Okay, so when you click on chapter 1 and you click on view profile, you'll get the information about the first victim in this murder mystery cold case. Okay, so be very careful about that. Again, that this particular chapter has got so many evidences like newspaper clippings, you have some photographs, letters, you have video footage, you also have a suspect profile. So if you look at this, I can see that there are 2 suspect profiles here. So what I can probably do is I can just select a board. So
there's something very charming about this little indie series here that looks like it's got substantial amounts of evidence to look through and lots of videos, probably like little low budget videos made with friends or something, but they look long. There's like a 5-minute video, looks like. So I think this might be worth checking out. I love to hear from someone who's played them. You have to appreciate these little more independent, unreasonable people is what I call them, rather than trying to form a big company. They're sort of that looks like a self-published person's project that is very serious about making something special that they've got a vision for. All right, let's move along, however. All right, we're getting into some video games here. Here's a video game that sort of caught some real word of mouth. Blueprints. Now, I know we've had some people in the Discord for this channel that didn't love it and some people that did. But here's talking about Blueprints. Let's watch this trailer together. And then I want to see what the people on the channel think of it who've played it. Building a mansion, you're assembling it, is that right? And in each room there's different puzzles. So on the face of it, it looks like a standard mystery adventure, well, not adventure, but a mystery game like Myst, where you're sort of trying to solve this. But it's not a fixed world. It's like a dynamically created mansion of rooms that you have to do some strategic assembling of. And some of the puzzles are dynamic. Can the chat help me out here? Actually, there was some sort of review of it here. Yes. Okay. While I'm waiting for the chat to chime in, let me let's read this review here. Opening days consist naturally of the enchantment of entering rooms for the first time. So you're discovering rooms, discover. The house is complicated by the house that doesn't want to be discovered. You discover ways of predicting and weighting the drafting pool, with certain rooms more likely to appear at certain latitudes, mechanisms within rooms that let you stave off certain possibilities. So you're assembling this set of rooms and then exploring them and solving puzzles. There are resources you have to gather. There's scope for frustration. I often lost sight of my aim. I was having fun cultivating the sense of play, stringing together rooms to support different forms of exploration. Any thoughts from people who have played it? It's definitely not for everyone. Shazner said, I sunk like 55 hours into it and have barely scratched the surface. Each day you start at a fixed place. Every time you open a door, you draw 3 rooms, like cards from a deck, and sometimes you'll dead end quickly. There's usually always something to discover. There are permanent upgrades, ways to game it, so luck is in your favor. Probably my game of the year, honestly, says Shazner. Blueprints was absolutely amazing, he says. Okay. All right, something to check out, maybe? Here's another PC game called Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, a standout puzzler with enticing story, clever riddles, and a perfectly eerie vibe. Another game set in a big manor. One big puzzle box. Okay, let's look at our trailer here. A very distinctive art style. Strange. Strange. Has anyone played this one? Lorelei was great too. I've only got 10 hours into it though. Need to finish it. It's really good too. Really cool atmosphere and vibe. Okay. Looks like Shazner is our go-to video game person. Okay, here's one that Rob has been singing the praises of in the Discord for a while. It's called Type Help. It's free. And it just says click to begin. So this is your classic interactive fiction game. Don't know if it's all text or not. But Rob says, Type Help is my game of the year for sure. Shazner hasn't heard of it. It sounded like, so it sounds like this is one of these classic Twine interactive fiction games, free. There's spoilers in the comments. Let's read what it says here. A puzzle mystery game inspired by Return of the Aubergine, Her Story Unheard, and The Root Trees Are Dead. Investigate the files on an old computer that once belonged to a mysterious outside agent. The files detail the gruesome story of Galley House, a case that was said to be unsolvable. What really happened at Galley House? What did the agent find out that led to their death? Delve through deeper and deeper layers of mystery as you piece together the grand puzzle. Remember, there are no ghosts in Galley House. So one of these games that you want to walk in blind and not know what you're getting, not know what you're in for. I'd be curious to hear more people. I know Rob has been talking about it for a while. Okay, let's move on. We're almost at the end here. Here was another game that was recommended in the Discord called Gerda. And if I remember correctly, the pitch was that it had a little bit of a vibe of War Story Occupied France. So let's see. I don't know if there's audio. There's no audio being broadcast, but we've got a war story here, a story set in war. A little bit of light role playing, as I understand it. So maybe if you like the idea of it looks like maybe commanding a small team. Well, if you've seen our playthrough of War Story Occupied France, I think the idea was that this game had a little bit of a feel to that, a little bit of grim, dark, difficult, war-torn adventure story, heavy in narrative. All right, moving on. All right, so I think we're done with the games. I just wanted to mention a couple other things I stumbled across. This is particularly apropos for a couple things we've seen today and our playthrough of Green Poison yesterday. Here's a website that looks like it's designed to let you manage murder boards. These little flow charts where you track the relationship between suspects and victim. Here's a website designed to help you create these online. Interactive detective boards turn every case into a collaborative adventure. So you can see, you can collaborate with other people online, building your case. All right, let's take a look. We lost audio? Is that what it is? Or there's no audio on these? But anyway, you can see what they're doing. They're doing graphical layout of their case and keeping notes. Might be useful if you're planning a case or trying to solve one. Okay. Here is another little web service I found. This sounds like maybe a fun project for a family with kids or whatever, but basically, this is like making a treasure hunt or something. It's a website. You can create an adventure set in the real world, as I understand it. So you start and you say, like, here, I'm making this adventure treasure hunt or whatever. And then you start picking real locations, like in your town. At the flower shop, you would add a little event there, little treasure hunt thing that people should go visit. Design challenges and puzzles. And then you can create a little backdrop, a little story, some hints and answers, and then you share it. You could see it's a map set in your town. It would be fun to see. I don't know if you've ever had, like, we have friends here that made a little treasure hunt, and it was really enjoyable to go in these real places and try to follow the clues about, oh, that's probably talking about this street, it's probably under that sculpture. So here is a website designed to help you make such cases. If you've got some kids, you could make them a treasure hunt game that they could play in the real world. That sounds quite appealing. I don't know if it's, let's see, publish and promote. Best Spore, it's called. Sign in. Creator Studio Adventures. So here are adventures that people have made. So if you're in one of these towns, you could explore. But is this it? Is it just like a very, oh, those are featured. So I don't know how many of these they have. Creator Studio, is this a paid? Can't tell. If someone gives us a try, let me know. All right, we're almost wrapping up. We just got a couple extra odd things here. Here's a podcast I stumbled across. Listen to the description of this. The Escape Room Podcast, where a bunch of friends make and solve homemade audio escape rooms for each other. One part escape room, one part role-playing game, a sprinkle of point-and-click adventure, and a whole lot of laughs. New episodes every Sunday. So here's their episodes. Quite a few of them. More? How many more? Wow, lots of them. How long have they been doing this? This is kind of crazy how many of them are. And what are they? They're cases that, like, I think you're listening to a playthrough almost as if you're listening to a session of a role-playing game where one person is running the escape room just by narrating it. Is there, like, subscribe, support? Like, I'd like to hear a little discussion of what this craziness is. Here's the latest episode. Maybe we can listen to it for a second.
Hello, and
30
welcome
minutes
to the
long.
Infinite Escape Room, the puzzling podcast where a group of geographically diverse chums come together, have a lovely little drink, and work together to solve a homemade escape room of the ears. I'm Mike, Slipshod, Ripcord, Twix, and joining me today we have...
Hello, I'm Jamie Gibbs, quick as a duck and twice as webbed.
Okay. I'm Bailey, and I don't know what my name is on this, so I think that's it. I don't know what my name.
Okay, point is, I think it's like, there are some YouTube channels where you watch people play a role-playing game. You've got a game master running it and inventing stories, and the other players playing it. Sounds like that's what we've got here, but all audio. Like they bring in some friends, and one person has constructed a little adventure with puzzles, and they try to solve it. But Shazner has a different recommendation. As for podcast, I'd recommend Solve This Mystery. Solve this murder or solve this mystery? Maybe it's called Solve This Murder. A game created by Danny Siller, Bill Sunderland. As Danny unravels the mystery, make sure to take notes and see if you can guess the killer before the denouement. Best audience detail. It sounds like a little bit of Dear Holmes going on. Wow, look at this. Okay. And Escape This Podcast by the same folks. Maybe on a different website. Escape this podcast. Mix of tabletop role-playing and escape room puzzles. Every episode, we invite guests to play through the escape rooms to see if they can find the clues, solve the puzzles, and escape. As a listener, you can join us and follow along. Okay, so if you like listening to podcasts, this might be the one for you. With some role-playing. I tend to not like, to be honest, the videos of people role-playing, I really don't like those. Like, I don't like the giggling, acting, having fun stuff. I prefer more serious, less laughing, less trying to be funny stuff. But I can see how this would be very enjoyable. All right, let's see if I have anything else. Okay, that's it. We're ready to wrap up and finish. I just want to make my normal recommendations on this series, which is the Puzzle People group on Facebook. I'm not a Facebook person, but I learn about a lot of games on this Facebook group. And there are quite a few people who join me for playthroughs who I have seen posting on the Puzzle People Facebook group. This is just a collection of people who have their finger on the pulse of mystery games. And you can recognize some of familiar faces in the channel. There's Dee, there's Marty, who's a Patreon supporter of the channel. It's also a good place to pick up and trade used games. Shadows of a Doubt, we've talked about that on a previous Tabletop Mystery Game series, but you can see here's Derice trading some games. Here's someone selling old Hunt-A-Killer games, and so on. That's it. That's a wrap for this episode. Is there anything else anyone wants to talk about before we wrap up here? Marcus says, so far for the analog part, I'm quite intrigued by City of the Six Moons and would have some infos about the box in the back, Midnight Murder Mysteries. Okay, when you say I would have some infos, that's not really, I'm not sure what you're saying, but maybe you're asking about the game behind me. Jay Diamond says, interactive murder mystery book coming in September. You are the detective, the Creeping Hand Murder. That is, I completely forgot about that, but we were actually talking about that. So let me bring up these two things that have been mentioned by Jay Diamond, because I've just forgot them to add to my items today, but I definitely wanted to talk about them. So let's see if we can get them up here. So you are the detective book. Here it is. And it is on Amazon, but let's see if we can just bring up this one here. So it's not yet out, but it looks like a sort of cold case game in book form. Now, there are lots of narrative puzzle games. This one looks like it's a little bit more of a story. This isn't that useful. It's not out yet. Here's the Amazon pre-order page. And there's a different cover on the UK. Okay, so you pre-ordered this. Okay, so I have already pre-ordered it. And it certainly looks intriguing enough. We will get it and look at it on the channel. I don't love that I'm signed into my Amazon account here. Seems like that could go wrong for me. But quite intriguing. And then Jay Diamond says another game that I don't think I know about. Can you solve the murder? What's this? This one I don't know about. Follow leads, find clues, interrogate suspects in this intricately crafted page turner. 1 murder, 6 suspects, the truth for you to uncover. All right, this is new to me. I might pick this one up. Is it already out? Pre-order. Same deal, pre-order. Let's see, when is this one due out? July 1st, huh? Okay, we'll check this out. I'm happy to hear about new games on this channel. As for another game recommendation, I just picked up The Horror at High Rook. It's a card-based mystery game. The Horror at High Rook. That is new to me too. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Horror at High Rook. What is this? It's digital. It's digital. Okay, it's a PC game that it's one of these PC games that simulate having cards. An occult card crafting narrative RPG. Explore a haunted mansion with your team of investigators, summon dark entities, craft powerful protections, uncover the fate of the missing family. Okay, so it's part of this genre of video games that are made to feel like board games. It's a very weird genre. It does exist, though. Amazon may have flashed my addresses on this stream. I don't worry about that. I just worry about showing my complete Amazon purchase history. All right. To answer the question about Midnight Murder Mysteries, the game behind me here, Midnight Murder Mysteries, is a very esoteric, rare game that someone told me about on the channel. It's not out of print or anything. It's fairly recent. It's just it never got much notice. And someone joined one of our playthroughs and mentioned that I might want to check it out. And I did. I think I bought it from Noble Knight, which tends to have some odd mystery games occasionally. And it's mostly designed for competitive play. I think that's how it came up. We were talking about Detective City of Angels as a cooperative, competitive detective game, and Midnight Murder Mysteries came up. And it's a whole set of mysteries, a bunch of scenarios, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 of them. They're all set on a boat. And each scenario is a custom little booklet, but with very thin narrative. But each little scenario has a different murderer, a different motive, and different details about how it was committed. And you basically roam around the boat talking to people. So if you're playing with multiple people, you can each decide different places to go, and you're trying to, there's a little bit of like, this person was here, so where did they go, in what order? And you can talk to them, but it's all like brief little one-sentence things, a little bit reminiscent of Mugbook in that respect, in that the entries are all very short, but intriguing, and especially intriguing if you're interested in the mechanics of how do you make a mystery game that is set in a very confined space where all you're really doing is talking to people. I'm not sure it really works as a solo game, but interesting, worth checking out. Maybe we'll take a look at it on the channel one day. Anything else to talk about before we sign off here? We had a good chat. We discovered some new stuff. Hour and a half, that's reasonable. We'll try to do these more frequently, and then we won't have so much to get through every episode. So I'm going to wrap this up here. I'll see some of you tomorrow at 1 p.m. for letter 3 in the Dear Holmes case we're playing. For the rest of you, have a good weekend. I'll see you next time. Wait, I forgot something. I forgot one more game. Are we still live? I didn't end it, right? I just put the end screen up, but I didn't actually end the stream. Okay, so I saw this on Amazon and I just ordered it. There doesn't seem to be anything about it anywhere. It looks, if I had to guess and looked at it, I would think this is one of these AI games that we're going to get flooded with in the coming years. But I do want to show you what it is. This might be some IP, some anime IP, but it's set in France and you're trying to solve mysteries. It's actually got 3 stories in it. Let me just open it up so you can see what this weird thing is. I have no idea. This is surely not written in English originally. In fact, just the way things are described, single player script reasoning game, is very dubious, but I'm sort of curious to see how big of a train wreck it is. So here are the instructions, which are called the overall process. But let's just take a look at this for a second. So you can see it's 3 cases. Here they are. The first case here, take out the card related to this case from the item envelope. Read the script carefully. After reading the script, review the clue cards, organize the clues, deduce the method of the crime, identify the murderer. Then you open up this 4th book, which has the answers. But it's basically just reading a story and then trying to figure it out. But I don't like... The cast of characters, there is some cards, but look, you basically just read a story and then you get a question. How did the murderer vanish? Then you try to figure it out, and then you turn the page to continue reading. And then in some cases, I guess it's like multiple chapters, and then in some cases you read the ending solutions in this case, in this book. And there is a little item envelope, which I think has, let's just take a peek at this. There are little postcards for each case. Let me just look at this without showing you so I won't spoil anything. All right, they're little postcards. But on some of them, it looks like there's a little spatial puzzle type thing. And then if we look at the rules, let's see what the rules say, which is called the overall process. For better experience, you'll play as a detective and are encouraged to solve the mysteries in the order indicated. So play these 3 books in order. The item envelope has information cards about the mystery. Please get the data card corresponding to the mystery. The translation here feels like it's a machine. The true ending includes a complete replay, which I think means solution. Solve the mysteries, then refer to the index to view the corresponding replay. Be sure not to look at the replay, i.e. solution. So I think this would be an interesting experience in translation issues. I'm curious, maybe we'll try to play one of these. If people are interested, we can try to play through one of these on the channel. I don't expect it to be good in the classical sense. I just think it might be an interesting experience. People Make Games has a long-term YouTube video on them. Oh, let's see. Okay, they're all Chinese only. Interesting. Okay, People Make Games has a long YouTube video. Let me see what this is here. Let me see if we can find this. So you're saying if I search for People Make Games, Well, there's the channel. People Make Games. But do you think if I search for Uzaku, we're going to find anything? No. Okay. So I don't know. That's an English translation of a Chinese Jubensha game. Maybe you want me to search for Jubensha. I think you're just talking about the general genre of mystery games. Yes. Okay. So this is the channel of shut up and sit down people who I'm not huge fans of, but this is a video about Chinese mystery games in general. Yeah, I am familiar with that, but not this particular series. Okay, for real, we're signing off. I'll see you guys next time.